All right, so you know what's amazing about being a creator is all of a sudden the idea of something will just hit you. And because it hits you, you tend to take action on it almost immediately. Um, Welcome back to another episode of Sunday Sideways on the Couch. My name is Eric, of course, and I typically do these so I don't talk about fragrances because sample size scents is the mainstay on here. But every Sunday or off, like maybe every Sunday or every other Sunday, I'll try and just have a little bit more in-depth conversations with you about me, about the things I have going on in my life, and about just life in general. So I guess to kind of give you a little bit of motivation or inspiration throughout the day to try to get your day started or get your week started. So if you haven't done already, please like and subscribe, all the good stuff they tell you to do. It is now early and I'm choosing to make this video right now because I had a few things that were on my mind that I decided to kind of get off my chest a little bit early. So instead of waiting for the evening, which is typically when I record stuff. So um, I'm actually talking about a book that I picked up yesterday called The Artist Way by Julia Cameron. And this book was actually recommended by a video that I saw on YouTube with Dochi. And if you don't know who Dochi is, she's this singer, rapper um, that is that just came out with an EP, which is an amazing EP, by the way. And the video that I watched was kind of like a breakdown of how she became who she was and how she became as popular as she is. And a lot of it, the majority of it had to do with grind, had to do with hustle, had to do with motivation and stuff like that. But she, like a lot of creators at the time, were really in a funk where, they were making this content, they were making this quality content, and they weren't getting traction. They weren't going over, kind of like how they say in wrestling terms. They didn't get over. Um, and she was trying to figure out why. There's lots of documented videos of her on her channel as to why things didn't work the way they did. What was going on? Do I have to go back to the drawing board? All of these different things. And she ended up just happened to walk down the street one day and saw this book. And she decided to pick up the book. And she said this one book kind of changed her entire perspective on life and on um, creativity, I guess you can say. And, you know, I felt compelled to pick it up simply because I, like all the other creatives that I know, a lot of creatives that I know, not even creatives, but just entrepreneurs and stuff like that. They all kind of have that same feeling and that same sense of, when am I going to get over? When am I going to move on to the next step? And a lot of it is a lot of back and forth within yourself, a lot of um, self hate, I'll say, a lot of self deprecation, and just, you're not learning who you truly are. And again, me, like other people, especially when you have an amazing idea going on in your head and you decide to put it out, you decide to write about it, and you decide to make sense of it and or make sense of it and then decide to execute on it. And you've been planning it for so long, and you've done all these different things, and you are happy with the outcome, only for people to not gravitate towards it. And it's a crappy feeling, y'all. It's a very crappy feeling. I've been accustomed to it. I am well familiar with it. A lot of my friends who are entrepreneurs who are trying to get this thing going or whatever, they are very accustomed to it. It's a very demeaning feeling, like it almost makes you question your self-worth. And going back to her, she picked up this book and she read this book, and it actually made her change her perspective on certain things. Um, and oftentimes books will do that. I remember reading a book, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and a lot of that book is very, very, very popular in the sense of um, manifesting and seeing things, foreseeing things, and being able to understand why things are working or why things are happening the way they are, again, it's a very daunting feeling, y'all. It's a very daunting feeling. I've been at this for years, y'all. It's been over a decade now. And although I do feel I have made an impact in some people's lives, like, helped change people's trajectory and change people's mindset on what they want to do in their purpose in life, I feel I haven't gotten over to that side. And so that's why I picked up this book. I picked up the book and I just really wanted to be able to have something that I can continue to lean on. And because be honest with you, I mean, it's you versus you. And you sometimes feel like it's you versus everybody, but it's really you versus you. And with that being said, I'm going to read this book. I'm going to talk more about it in depth, and I'll document my journey on that with you all, with on Sundays, sideways on the couch conversations, and I'll document it as I'm reading it or whatever. I'll document it, and I'll talk more about it. Yeah, I'm still getting familiar with this YouTube thing. I won't even lie to you. It's hard. It's not hard. I'm not going to say it's difficult. It's not difficult. What the difficulty is within myself. And actually, let's talk about that for a minute. Let's talk about the difficulties within yourself. Because I feel that is the one thing that a lot of times that we often have trouble with. It's not outside forces that tell us what to do and tell us what not to do and stuff like that. It's not the outside forces that get us. It's always the inside forces, and it's the things that are within us that prohibit us from being able to move on to the next level, or that prohibit us from being able to create things and create opportunities for ourselves. I've thought of several different ideas over the last few months or whatever. Like, since I would say since November, I've thought of maybe 4 different ideas that I can do. But as time progresses, we all know that if you don't do something within the first 10 minutes or within the first day or so, 24 hours, then all of a sudden your conscious starts to kick in, or your subconscious starts to kick in, and your mindset starts to shift in the sense of, well, maybe I don't need to do that. Maybe I don't deserve to do that. Maybe I don't think it's the right thing to do. And that in itself is a mood killer, y'all. It is a purpose killer to be able to feel like you can put something on a back burner and then eventually it never comes to fruition. I want to talk about that because, as I said before, I've been doing this for well over a decade now, this whole creativity thing. I've come up with different ideas, with different stories, with different pieces of me, and nothing in my feeling has transitioned over to something that can be financially beneficial to me. Yeah, it's a troubling feeling, y'all. It's a troubling feeling, but I'm not going to give up because I know something somewhere will stick. It always does. You have to stay the course. You have to continue to focus on what you're doing, hone in on what you're doing, lock in on what you're doing, and continue to build and build and build. Even if something comes to tear it down, even if a tsunami just hits it all of a sudden, you have to continue to build it. Start from scratch, build it again, build it again, build it again. And that is very much so the way I feel about this YouTube thing. This is probably the first time that I'm actually feeling like I'm just kind of doing it. Like I'm not planning it or anything like that. I had no intentions on even doing a Sunday Sideways on the Couch today. I was actually waiting on an interview I have coming up with my really good friend, Angie, from the Sincerely Angie podcast. And we were going to talk about fragrances and stuff like that. And we always do. But we were going to talk about stuff like that. But I just felt compelled because, as I said in the very beginning, the cool thing about being a creative is that you can just, if something hits you, you feel the need to do it right then and there. But as I said before, what happens when you don't do it right then and there? If you don't do it right then and there, then it will take the back burner. And once it takes the back burner, then what? Then what? It falls to the wayside. And once it falls to the wayside, it becomes non-existent. So yeah, yo, I mean, I think we're all kind of trapped in this whirlwind um, of discovering who you are, and trying to discover who you are, and trying to stay focused on who you are and stay purposeful. And this book, I hope this book, The Artist's Way, teaches me that, or at least gives me some type of insight as to why I constantly move from one thing to the next, and don't allow things to stick. And hopefully it allows me to continue to build on what I'm doing with you all. Because I like this. I actually like doing this. I like, although I am new to being in front of the camera, I kind of like it. I kind of like being in front of the camera, talking to you all about, scents and fragrances and stuff like that, and just being able to share my experience with this. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited about this book. I'm excited about what I can talk about with this book, and I'm excited about this journey that I'm on with YouTube, and just you know what? It's not even with YouTube, but it's about abundance, and about building abundance, and building myself up, and continuing to build things, continue to do things that are different from what I'm familiar with. So I think that's really all I have to say today, yo. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say today. So I thank you once again. I'm really appreciative of you all, and of being here with me, building this goal of mine, and focused on building this goal of mine. Fragrances, the fragrance journey, buying new fragrances, all that good stuff. So yeah, thank y'all so much. Until the next time, this is Sitting Sideways on the Couch. Y'all, I know I said I was about to end it, but I just read something really, really cool that I had to share with you. It says, our people attempt to live their lives backwards. They try to have more things or more money in order to do more of what they want, so that they will be happier. The way it actually works is the reverse. You must first be who you really are, then do what you need to do in order to have what you want. Yo, this book, yo, let me tell you about that. That actually stuck to me. And the reason why it stuck to me was because people have been saying for a long time, you got to hustle hard, hustle hard, hustle hard to get the money, to get the goals, to get the house and the dog and all that stuff or whatever. But true wealth comes from within, because true wealth comes from knowing who you are at first. And then once you know who you are, then all of those things will begin to come like clockwork. It'll come secondary like clockwork, right? So when you know who you are, you know exactly what your intent, what your purpose is, and what your intention is, then you move according to whatever that is. And then what God will do is he will actually provide a way for you to be able to have all of those things, have the money, have the house, have the car, but the thing is, you have to first know yourself. And then once you know yourself, this is how I'm interpreting it. If you know yourself, what's the old saying? To own thyself be true. Because once you know yourself, then you'll know your worth. And then once you know your worth, then you'll know your value. And then once you know your value, then everything else comes into play. Yo, this is powerful. I literally just flipped it open, right? I said I was going to stop or whatever, but I just literally flipped it open. And when I said I was going to stop the video, but I didn't. I chose not to stop the video, or I stopped the video and then I chose to come back on here because I just wanted to tell you how impactful that was to me, just by even reading this one part. I literally just flipped it open to this, and it was right here. This is the first thing that came up. And I was like, yo, that is powerful. You know, I don't know, man. And this is by Margaret Young. The quote is actually by Margaret Young. And so, and it just stuck me. It stuck me immediately, simply because I felt that it was going to be, I felt that I needed to tell you this because somebody who's watching this is feeling like I'm feeling. As I said in the video earlier, like you're stuck, right? You're stuck in this sense of what it will it do? What can I do? How can I make money? What can I do to build wealth and to build this stuff? But the question is, do you know yourself first? Do you know who you are? And if you know who you are, then it shouldn't be that difficult for you. That's what I'm interpreting with this message. And that's what I feel compelled to say now. Think about all of the people that are on social media now, on YouTube or whatever, or even not even YouTube, but people that are like CEOs of companies, like wealthy entrepreneurs or creatives or whatever. Think of people like Martin Scorsese, Ryan Coogler, Issa Rae, people like, even, I don't know, Elon Musk or whoever. Think of these people or whatever that have one single solitary goal, and that's to know who they are first. And once you know who you are, then once you know who you are, then again, you know your worth and you know what you're capable of. And then once you know that, then you know your value. And then once you know your value, then everything else will fall into place. Yo, this is crazy. I felt compelled to say this. I had to say it. I had to get it out. I just, I'm telling you, yo, I do believe this book is going to change things for me. Look at this. They even said something about the virtue trap. An artist must have downtime, time to do nothing. Defending our right to do such time takes courage, conviction, and resiliency. Such time, space, and quiet will strike our family and friends as a withdrawal from them, because it is. What I get out of that is we're so focused on being able to build, build, and we think that there's a level of sacrifice that needs to be made, but there isn't no level. Like, there is a way that you can actually, I believe. Now, I'm only into this book. Again, I haven't really read that much into the book, but I'm thinking that there is a balance between the two. I believe there could be a healthy balance between the two, because once you know who you are and once you know what you're capable of, and then once you know your worth and your value, then you can begin to move into steps according to that. And I think that us not having downtime, because we're so focused on right now getting it, hustling, going hard, doing all this stuff or whatever, building it up, building a brand, build all this stuff or whatever. If we continue to do that, then I think we'll end up burning out, and we'll end up alienating ourselves from our family, from our friends, from everyone that's involved with us. Yeah, y'all, this is crazy. This is crazy. I am going to read some more of this book, and I'll check back with you later on today about this. Or I'll check back with you later on in this conversation. And mind you, this is all the same. This is all within like 20 minutes of itself. So yeah, I'll check back with you. All right. So I read another part of the book that I wanted to read to you guys as well. This one says, "Be really whole, and all things will come to you." This is in line with what I said just a few minutes ago about with the quote from Margaret Young, how when you know who you are, no one can tell you that. When you know who you are, then no one can tell you who you are, right? And know yourself first instead of trying to get money, get wealth, accumulate, houses, whatever. Know yourself first. Once you know yourself, then everything will come to you. Hence this quote here by Lao Tzu: "Be really whole, and all things will come to you." Yo, this book is, yeah. I'm going to definitely look more into this book and try to figure out more about it. I'm really done now. I said I was going to be done. I'm really done. And yeah, this book is crazy, y'all. Like, Again, I'm just skimming through it. I haven't even given it a full breakdown or a full complete read yet, and I'm starting it in a few minutes. But again, I'm just kind of scrolling through pages or whatever. And also, let me show you. Nah, I'll do that the next time. I'm not gonna show you this time. I'll show you the next time. My collection of books that I've been reading over the last um, several years, actually, and I've been having them. A lot of them are on my Kindle, but a lot of the books that I have here are books that continue to motivate me. Because as I said earlier, we need that. We need to be able to motivate ourselves and motivate one another, other creatives, other entrepreneurs, and stuff like that, and build a community of people that will continue to push you, that will continue to hold you accountable, and that will continue to make sure that you are on the right path of knowing who you are. Um, as I said in the earlier parts of the video, we are very, us as creators, we can get in our head a lot, in our heads a lot. And because we get in our heads a lot, we tend to think that, oh, this won't work, or oh, that won't work. But what we really need is to be able to know who we are first, understand what we do, understand who we are, and then move on from there. Again, when you know who you are, then you know your worth. And when you know what you're capable of. And when you know your worth, you know your value. And then once you know your value, then everything else will come into play. So again, I'm going for real this time. My name is Eric. Thank you so much. I thank you so much for continuing to check it out, even after I said I was going to be done earlier. But thank you so much for continuing to check it out and everything, because this is a journey for me. I know it's a journey for you because you don't know anything about me. And that is my goal, to introduce myself piece by piece to you. So that way you can trust my words whenever I say, oh, I love this fragrance, or oh, I don't like this fragrance, or whatever. You can trust me in what I say. Um, yeah, that's it, y'all. Till the next time, my name is Eric with Sunday Sideways on the Couch, and peace.